Hello and good evening, everyone. Thank you, Wolfram, for doing all of the wonderful mod stuff that you do. Welcome, DK Cripple. Good evening, Phoenix. I hope everyone is having a good evening. I'll wait for people to kind of get in. Welcome, JKD Buck and Slinky and Cynthia. And again, thank you, Wolfram, Alice G. I hope you are doing well too. I am doing just fine, Captain Kern, Lori, McCulloch. It's a Chihuahua world. Welcome. Welcome to the nightly shenanigans. And Teddy O'Hearn, welcome. Farrell, good evening. Welcome. Good to see you. I haven't seen you in forever, ever. I have had a great day because I was semi-productive. I made a couple shorts, but I had terminal mother duty, so I was running everyone to different doctor's appointments because that is my life. But I did have one thing that I figured out today, so let me put me on me vision just for a short little bit. We'll get to news. But I have been kind of figuring out a way to commemorate Fry, and it finally came to me when I was in Joann's of all places, and they had a big tag. So I will be painting this and probably putting some Fryberto pictures that I print out on it, but it will be going directly next to the board. So we have a place where we can remember Fryberto and in true murder board fashion, because why else? But I figured I'd share that with you guys because I am an oversharer. So, welcome everyone. And our first story is shockingly heartwarming. We have some good news for our first story. New York teacher promised his students an eclipse party in 1978, and he kept his vow more than 4 decades later. It was like no time had eclipsed. When Patrick Moriarty first began teaching earth science in 1978, he promised his ninth grade students they would reunite for the next eclipse that would pass their hometown near Rochester, New York. The educator kept his word more than 4 decades later. Look at them. They all came back together. This is such a cool story. It catches me all in the feels that I don't claim to have. On Monday, about 100 of Moriarty's former students gathered in the driveway of his Brighton home to watch the sky grow darker as the moon journeyed over the sun. I mentioned to the students, "See that one on April 8th, 2024? Circle that one. We're gonna meet that day," the retired educator, now 68, recalled to the Post on Tuesday. The then 22-year-old first-year teacher had given his students a worksheet about eclipses. From that point on, Moriarty invited all the earth science classes he taught over the next 16 years, telling the students to circle the date and keep their eyes peeled for a message from him in the future, likely in the local Democrat and Chronicle newspaper. I did say, unless there's any other way in 2024, you can get a hold of people easier than that, he noted. Oh, goodness, what a sweet little story. I love it. Debbie W., welcome, and Fisher of Men, and Alice G., and Audio Coffee, welcome and good evening. So, what a cool teacher. Uh, the former teacher ended up making an event on Facebook in 2022 to begin planning for the celestial speculation. While about 100 former students showed up, some with partners and children, hundreds of others reached out from places as far as New Zealand to express how they wish they could attend. The event went off without a hitch, Moriarty said, detailing how he and his wife bought drinks and pizzas and set up chairs in their driveway. He even borrowed his daughter's karaoke machine so he could use a microphone to provide educational commentary as the rare astronomical event grew closer. But for the proud educator, it was about so much more. I've had the opportunity to reconnect with so many of my students who have shared such wonderful things about being in my classroom and the impact of teachers, he said. This was a, oh my gosh, I guess I did okay. I had an impact on these kids type of moment, he described. Oh, this is gonna give me all of my feelers, and I didn't even put on freaking waterproof mascara, sir. This is not even fair. If I had known this was gonna be all about the feelers, I would have put this at the end of the show. Moriarty had been able to reconnect with many of his former students on social media before Monday, many of whom asked or would ask if he still planned to have a place for them on the eclipse. The answer was always yes, we are. April 8th, 2024, look for it on Facebook, he said. Facebook also helped him recognize some students, though Moriarty says teachers have a way of locking in and remembering faces even decades later. It was so interesting seeing them walking up bald or with gray hair and looking at me like, you're still my teacher. I could see in their faces, in their adult faces now, what they looked like when they were 14, he said. What a sweet, sweet guy. Moriarty, who has been retired for a little over a decade, also spent 17 years in school administration. His next great adventure is running for school board in Penfield, a suburb about 10 minutes from his home where three of his grandchildren go to school. I want to be a voice of experience and a voice of reason, he said. Well, you know what? I don't live there and I've not heard any of his other platforms, but he has my vote if I were allowed to live there and vote. Good evening, Stacey Ann and Jackie uh, Kemmerer. Hopefully I got that right. I've been practicing. I'm going to study elocution until I get this right. Though I refuse to do the My Fair Lady thing with marbles because look, I don't want to have to explain to the ER doctor why I ingested 43 marbles, and it wasn't even a, weird smexy thing. It was me trying to learn how to speak better by watching an old movie and pretending that they might could know something about elocution. No, Teddy O'Hearn, I think this is a great story, and I have heard that New York State is such an awesome place to see, very rural, very beautiful, just country folk, and I love that. The city would Twitter pate me within a nanosecond. Not electrocution, Kern. Elocution. Elocution. To speak better without all these, dingusy word vomity things I have. Small steps. Small steps. In other news, there is anger in Malaysia over shoes bearing a logo resembling the Arabic word for God. Company head apologizes. Again, you'd think this would be something that would come up in the marketing meeting. Like, you guys, we're kind of in an Islamic theocracy. Those pretty little doodles? Those kinda look like Allah. It might not go over well. Let's just, copy 20% differently the Nike swoosh. Just have it a little off angle for the love of all that is holy. A Malaysian shoe company has apologized and stopped selling some of its footwear after some Muslims said the logo resembled the Arabic writing for the word God. Vern's Holdings said the logo stamped on the soles of some high-heeled shoes depicted a silhouette of a stiletto heel with an ankle spiral strap. It acknowledged, however, that shortcomings in the design may have led to the logo being misinterpreted. The company also said it acted immediately to stop the sale of the shoes and issue refunds to customers who bought them. We have absolutely no intention of designing a logo aimed at belittling or insulting any religion or belief. especially one that strikes back. Allegedly, y'all know. I mean, good night, nurse. Vern said in a statement posted on social media, the management would like to humbly apologize and seek forgiveness. We hope for compassion so we can rectify this mistake. They're like, please don't Molotov us, please. For the love of all that is holy, don't Molotov us. For the love of goodness. Police said Monday they confiscated more than 1,100 shoes from Vern's store. The Department of Islamic Development, an agency that handles Islamic affairs in Malaysia, also summoned the company's owner, Ning Chan Hu. The local Star English language newspaper quoted Ning as saying he regretted the uneasiness caused in hurting the Muslim community. I hope to learn from the incident and to be more careful and sensitive in the future. Sir, blink 3 times if you need a, if you need us to pull out of here. Just saying. I mean, sir. The Islamic Department said if evidence that the logo was deliberately created to mimic the word God in Arabic was found, legal action would be taken to prevent similar future innocence or incidents. Y'all do not mess with shoe designs. This is why I don't do graphical stuff. I am terrible at that stuff. I would probably be indirectly offensive to 90% of the world, and I would think it would be beautiful, and the rest of the world would be like, "No, that's a phallus, ma'am." I'd be like, "But it's so great. I can do all the things." And they'd be like, "No, ma'am, that's a hard pass. Simply don't have the eye for it." Um Oh, this was the same story as yesterday. Okay, we will get to make fun of Gwyneth Paltrow. The situation is intolerable. Well, if it itches that long, you have to go to a doctor. Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop sued by Smexual Wellness Company. A wellness company of the smexy type in Oregon is suing Gwyneth Paltrow's Goop, claiming the actress's business infringed on copyrights by using similar trademarks that are intentionally confusing to customers. Um, Okie dokie. Good Clean Love Incorporated, based in Eugene, filed a lawsuit March 28th in the U.S. District Court in Oregon. The company, started in 2003 by a Smex-starved mother of 4 who wanted more natural lubricants, offers female sexual health and hygiene products. Good. Good to know. Goop started as a newsletter by Paltrow in 2008 where she could just drivel on and on. I mean, let's be honest, Goop is no less ridiculous than Oprah magazine, where Oprah is, on the front of every cover. Look, if I had Mo magazine, I would be my behind would be plastered on the front of every magazine. I'm not saying it wouldn't. And thank you, Tammy. I appreciate it. Like I said, I greatly underestimate the time that doctor's appointments are gonna take. For a very realist, I always have these, optimistic beyond Pollyanna syndrome that I'm going to get all of my work done or all of the things I wanna do done in one day. I'm always like, "No, there's plenty of time. I can do all of this." And, for a realist, you would think I would never be this objectively optimistic about my abilities to work. And then it expanded to selling beauty products along with other projects such as podcasts and television shows. If anyone has been able to sit through an entire show of Gwyneth Paltrow babbling, please tell me because you have a stronger, spirit and fortitude than myself. Last October, the company began a line of products dubbed Good Clean Goop. That just no. You know what? If you are trying to sell me anything of the Smexy variety and it comes with good, clean goop, I'm gonna hard pass. Besides, they're probably 80 bucks and made of, like, rare Egyptian snails with, I don't know, gelflings or something. I don't know. I just no. It also applied for a trademark, but the lawsuit says the product line is too closely associated with Good Clean Love line and would saturate the marketplace because of its notoriety thanks to Paltrow and prior controversies. Quote, with massive public interest in and focus on Goop's celebrity founder and brand, Goop is known to consumers worldwide, whether or not a Goop product has ever been purchased or a Goop podcast has ever been listened to. You know, I haven't done either. Gook. Um, but hey, if you like Goop, you do you, sweet peas. I am not one to tell you what to do. According to media reports, Goop, a private company, has been valued at $250 million, the lawsuit said. Good, clean goop immediately garnered media attention from outlets such as New York Magazine and People, just to name a few. It offers products such as daily chews to increase apparently the smexy time funness and an aphrodisiac with a twist that purportedly helps improve a woman's, well, it makes a woman not pretend she has a headache. You know what also works? Like doing the laundry and the dishes and telling her that she gets to sit down and watch a show with closed captions on. I'm just saying, Mr. Mo has never looked more handsome than when I get a night like that. But that's just me, and maybe you would like to try Goop products. The products are similar to what Good Clean Love already sells and come up in similar searches on websites such as Amazon and Target, the lawsuit states. Paltrow's new line threatens to confuse customers with Good Clean Love products and threatens to foreclose it from expanding. A spokesperson for Goop called the lawsuit, quote, meritless, end quote, in a statement to Law and Crime. Quote, the market is saturated with good, clean, fill in the blank, end quote, named brands. Goop's Good Clean Goop is an accessible skincare, body care, and wellness line sold at Target and Amazon, and the Goop brand is well known for these products, a spokesman said. Thus, we trust customers to distinguish Goop from a plethora of other, quote, good, clean, end quote, products in the marketplace. We stand behind our products as clean and are proud to have been a pioneer in the clean beauty movement. Ew, even their spokesperson sounds insufferable, don't they? Like, this spokesperson sound like they would want the regional manager. "Excuse me, but this coupon is mine." Good Clean Love accuses Goop of federal trademark infringement, false advertising, and unfair competition. The lawsuit claims Goop's smexy product offerings have, quote, mocked the notion of sexual health and been criticized by medical experts, and in some cases resulted in legal actions against the company. Among the examples of the lawsuit cites are the candle called the famous, infamous, you know, candle, a 24 karat gold, lady enhancement vibrating sculptural object that costed, oh my gosh, I sound like my kids, that cost $15,000. The lawsuit also notes the $145,000 in civil penalties the company paid to the state of California for a, quote, egg-shaped stone intended to be put in, a female's, prison, funness area, Uh, to increase sexual energy. Okay, alright, sweet sweet summer child, and I will have you on for an interview. I just wanna know why, if you did this. If someone bought one of these crystal eggs and actually used this, you know what? If I could just interview you because I wanna know if, like, when Mars was in retrograde, something fun happened. Those would be the level of, questions I would ask. So, I completely understand if you wouldn't wanna come on the show, but if you did, in fact, buy one of these, egg crystals, if you will, I just need to know if it does something fun when Mars or, like, when the age of Aquarius starts. I'm just asking for a friend. Mean, not gonna spend $15,000, but if, a crystal egg happens to go crazy when Mars is in retrograde, I'm willing to listen. And welcome, Christine Ferdinand. Uh, it also claims that some of Goop's products contain harsh surfactants and chemicals which are known allergens and are listed on the European Union Fragrance Allergen and Annex. Those products do not compare to the quote highest certified standards of social and environmental performance, transparency, and accountability of Good Clean Love's merchandise. Well, well, I guess it'll be a battle of the lubes. And, I'm gonna let other people figure this out. Oh my gosh. Okay, so this is a my mom's story, but and she's told it to me, but my sweet, lovely, wonderful, very, very awesome mom did not know what pure romance was. So, a woman around her office was just selling like something. And my mom's like, she'll always buy something from, people that are selling things because you're kind of in a hostage situation. So she had no idea what pure romance was. And she decided to look the catalog up at work. And she was like, "Mo, do you know what is in there?" And I am laughing my ever living boobs on or off because, oh my gosh, all I am thinking is the names of certain, sculptural items that assist females and my mom and her being at work, and I'm sure it was horrifying. I am sure it was so embarrassing for her, but if I had been there, I would have been unable to render aid because I was laughing on the floor. I'm a terrible daughter. I really am. That's why my mom had, my little sister who is the sporty and awesome daughter that she deserves. She kinda just got a weirdo for the first daughter. It just is what it is. In a story that will I put in here because I wanted I know a lot of people in chat struggle with, pain or chronic illness or things like that, and if this story does nothing else because like you guys know, I just read the headlines and then we read the story together, but being your own personal advocate for medical stuff, uh, you have lived in your, meat suit for your entire life. You know what's going on with you. So, if anything, this story is a great reminder to be your own advocate for medical stuff. Just because someone's a doctor doesn't mean that, they know everything about how you function. So, if you feel like something's wrong, speak up. You might be labeled a little bit of a difficult patient, but you're the only person that knows you and knows how things work. Mom endures intensive chemo after terminal diagnosis that left her saying goodbye only to find out she never had cancer at all. Y'all, the amount of F words, like, y I I have only had to deal with doctor shenanigans for about a y 2 years, and I am ready to use all the curse words, but if I were this woman, the sailor mouth, at least 15-minute long diatribe that I would make all doctors who uh, gave me this diagnosis sit through, it might be an entire hour of me just, going through South Park songs, but I am going to waste your time because you screwed my life. A mother of 2 claims she underwent very intensive chemotherapy only to find out she never had cancer at all. Lisa Monk, 39, from College Station, Texas, initially went to the hospital in 2022 for stomach pains that she suspected were related to kidney stones, according to the Daily Mail. Tests from the appointment revealed two kidney stones, but also flagged a mass on her spleen. The higher education worker underwent a successful surgery to remove the mass in January of last year, but that's when events took a turn. Monk claims that the spleen was sent to 3 different pathology labs to be tested, for finally being sent to a fourth lab where it tested positive for a rare and terminal form of cancer called clear cell angiosarcoma, according to the Mirror. Angiosarcoma is a type of cancer that forms on the lining of blood vessels and lymph vessels, according to the Mayo Clinic. Despite available treatments, angiosarcoma is considered to have a poor prognosis regardless of age or gender. Uh, Quote, "It was a blood vessel type of cancer found in the spleen, and they told me that the most optimistic thing he could say was I would have 15 months to live," Monk revealed in a video. "It was a dark time. I could only imagine." The mom, understandably distraught after the horrible news, eventually had to tell her husband and her 2 young children the devastating diagnosis. I didn't tell them at this point it was terminal or I only had 15 months. I just told them it was bad, but I was going to try to fight it," Monk said on the video. "My oldest son took it the hardest. My little girl was very good at hiding her feelings, but I found out from her teacher she was getting overwhelmed about it at school." And absolutely, I mean, as an adult, you can barely handle, you know, these kind of diagnoses. Kids have no idea. In fact, odd tangent, but, the Matchbox, 20 song, 3 AM is about all of his feelings, um, when his mom had cancer and he was a little kid, and nothing really made sense to him. So it's all these just random thoughts that he had when his mom was battling cancer. Now he said that his mom is fine. I love Matchbox 20, but yeah, he's a cutie too, I'm gonna be honest. What followed, Monk explained, was an aggressive chemotherapy regimen. She was referred to a cancer hospital and had her first round of chemo in March 2023. After losing all of her hair, Monk explained she underwent a second round of therapy that left her getting very sick and with silvery skin. "It was a dark time. I was writing goodbye letters and letters to grandchildren I would never meet and weddings I would never attend. But at a routine appointment in April the following month, Monk received even more shocking news. She never had cancer in the first place." I would lose my MFing mind. The pathology report, the doctor explained, was wrong. Okay. Quote, "I saw the nurse practitioner first, and she asked me about my symptoms, and she was scrolling on the computer while she was talking to me," Monk recalled. "All of a sudden, she stops talking and has this look on her face. She turned to me and looked completely horrified and told me she needed to get the doctor and ran out of the room. She left me alone for about 15 minutes and the doctor came back in. He said a lot of medical lingo to me, then told me I didn't have cancer. Confused at first and initially thinking that was a good thing, that her chemo treatments had been working, Monk said she then realized it had all been a horrible mistake. The doctor then told me I never had cancer at all. At that moment, I looked like I had cancer and I felt like I had cancer. I was vomiting, I was sick, and my skin was silvery because of the chemotherapy, Monk said. To add insult to injury, the mom said the doctor then congratulated her rather than apologizing for the egregious error. Y'all, I would have been in an orange jumpsuit. I'm just telling you. Just telling you allegedly in Minecraft. I would be in an orange jumpsuit. I mean, a no jury in the world would convict me, allegedly again, but no, no. Smug when you've made that big of a daggone error, Mr. Mo would get a call from PD. The doctor then congratulated me, which really bothered me, Monk revealed. At the time, I was in shock, but now I feel more appropriate response would have been, I'm sorry. I asked for a copy of their pathology report and found a hallway to call my husband and tell them the news. But the error doesn't end there. Monk claims that after viewing the pathology reports at home, she realized that it was dated a month prior, meaning the hospital had the information prior to her second round of chemo, but simply didn't read the report until her appointment. Oh, heck no. I had had chemotherapy during this time, and they could have told me a month earlier. I would have avoided a second round of chemotherapy if they had bothered to read their own pathology report, Monk added. After being told I didn't have cancer, I had to wait a couple of days. Then it was confirmed to me that it was not cancer after having a discussion with all the doctors. In the end, they determined that my spleen was going to rupture, which was why it had the mass on it. It was just blood vessel activity and no cancer in it. I, nope, just nope. Now, a year later, Monk says she and her family are still facing mental, emotional, and financial fallout from the hospital's appalling error. Financially, she says they're still paying the bills despite the fact that it was the hospital's fault. Monk said she was unable to get any of the bills dismissed. I also still looked like I had cancer. I was bald and did not appear to be well. It was a daily reminder that it was something we all live through. A year on from what happened to me, I'm angry. They ruined my health. My insides are cooked, Monk said. The mom went on, I grieve for my kids even having to go through something like this in their lives, where they thought they were going to lose their mom. I can't take this away from them. I know on paper it looks like a few months of my life, but it felt like a lifetime. Absolutely. She should be getting represented. The hospital should be taking care of this. This is absolutely and completely so upsetting, especially when they had the pathology report for a month and still had her get an extra round of chemo because they just didn't look at the, doggone report. In some physical contact report, this woman is slapping this poor gentleman like those hospital administrators allegedly in Minecraft need a good biff on the head. Former Howard Stern show writer Alyssa Jordana arrested after repeatedly putting hands on a man in a horrifying live stream. Ma'am, you are not pretty enough to be this crazy. You're not. You have lovely eyes, but no, no, your soul looks really, really ugly right now. Former Howard Stern writer Alyssa Jordana was arrested Monday after physically laying hands on a man believed to be her boyfriend during a live stream. During the incident, which was shared on Jordana's YouTube channel Monday, this pisses me off, y'all. Okay, I'm over here and I have to use language creoles. I have to, tweak certain words to make them YouTube appropriate, but this chick gets to go like freaking Mike Tyson on her boyfriend like a horrible abusive jackbutt, and YouTube does what? What a dingus. Ma'am, you're an abuser. You are an abuser. You are just as bad as a man that will, take his rage out on a woman. You are just as abusive and just as destructive as a dude that would lay hands on a woman. During the Okay, sorry. She and fellow YouTuber Zescoro were riding in a car when she started punching him while confronting him about his alleged cheating. A woman named Sarah, who allegedly received thousands of dollars from Zescoro, then called into the live stream, and a former Cobra Starship musician threatened to leak her unclothed pictures and phone number online. I mean, these people sound like the most gross people that you could hang out with. As Ziscoro tried to speak directly to Sarah, Jordana punched him in the arm and shoulder. After he said, "Sarah, I'm sorry about this," Jordana smacked him in the face with an open palm and told him to not effing talk. She's just like almost broke my nose, Ziscoro said, adding, "F you, my favorite C word." Then he warned the live streamer, 35, that he would lay hands upon her should she touch him again. The man then grabbed her by the hair before, you know, dishing back just a little bit. He said, "Pull over, dumb C word," uh, the gentleman said, as Jordana, born Alyssa Ann Schwartz, began screaming and apologized. He also called Sarah to call 911, but it's unclear if she did. After Ziscoro forced Jordana out of the car, she ran toward a vehicle that stopped to help her on the highway. Once he got into the driver's seat of the car, he abruptly ended the live stream titled "Not Doing Good." Jordana was subsequently arrested on Monday by the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office on battery charge for the incident, per an arrest record obtained by Page Six. Y'all, I am glad that they arrested her. I'm glad that they arrested her. This behavior isn't appropriate from any gender. I don't care who you are. You don't lay hands on people. I mean, unless you're faith healing them and they asked for it, and that's gonna be my alibi. I was faith healing her, Your Honor. Um, Mo, you biffed her on the side of the head. Well, I was just trying to, exorcise a demon. And again, women, I'm kind of the opinion, if you would like to lay hands like a dude, you're gonna get there you are gonna come across a person that is not able to restrain themselves, Sarah Boone style, and you're both gonna end up in a toxic, gross web of self-destruction. If you have problems with your anger, get help. Get help. Once he got in the driver's seat, oh, sorry. Do, 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 do. It's unclear if her boyfriend was also arrested. According to Jordana's LinkedIn profile, in addition to being a comedy writer and radio personality, she works as a host of the web series Kermit and Friends. She's also made appearances on Jimmy Kimmel Live, MTV, VH1, Sharknado, and Fox News. She was previously engaged to comedian Andy Dick. Okay, this woman is all the cray with the cray cray, okay? This woman was engaged to Andy Dick. I think we have figured out why her barometer is stuck on cray. She was going to marry Andy Dick. For the love of all that is holy. In another woman who is allegedly, because she is innocent until proven guilty, but allegedly might wanna check her soul for some dirty trash, dirty water at the bottom of a trash can, the corroded dumpster trash water, because, ma'am, you're gonna have a lot of atoning to do. Grieving mother decorating daughter's grave gets purse with memento snatched from car at a cemetery, police say. I swear to goodness, you know, eh, just why? Just why? A woman is behind bars in Texas for allegedly stealing from a grieving mother who left her purse in her car as she tended to her daughter's gravesite. Latoya White, 35, is accused of theft, credit card abuse, and breaking into a vehicle, according to a probable cause affidavit filed with the Office of Harris County Constable Precinct 6. Gabriella Marshall Mackin was, quote, decorating her deceased daughter's headstone at Forest Park Funeral Home in Houston on April 3rd when White stole her purse from her car. Mackin's daughter, Alessandra, had passed away from leukemia, according to Fox affiliate KRIV. While visiting her daughter's final resting place, Mackin had left her purse inside her car and left her car door open. At one point, she saw a woman, later believed to be white, getting into a small black SUV parked close to Mackin's car before driving away. Mackin, quote, believed it was strange that anyone else was so close to her, either with their person or their vehicle, because of how large and generally empty the cemetery grounds are, the affidavit noted. Shortly thereafter, the affidavit said, Mackin started receiving fraud alerts on her cell phone about 3 credit cards, 2 in her name and 1 business card. She learned from notifications that someone was attempting to charge $494 to each of the cards at Walgreens. What in the absolute higgledy-piggledy are you buying for 500 bucks at Walgreens? I need to see that receipt for science. Police met Mackin at the Walgreens and determined that White had been there. A Walgreens employee handed over surveillance photo of White that was taken as she tried to use the stolen credit cards, the affidavit noted. White was first identified as a suspect after a tip from a local independent investigative outfit called Grizzly's Hood News, which cited an anonymous source. The constable's office thanked the local news site in its announcement of White's arrest on Facebook. Mackin later identified White from a lineup as a woman near her car at the cemetery. Mackin told KRIV that she visits the cemetery regularly and believed it to be a, quote, safe space, end quote. Okay, ma'am, you seem like a lovely woman who's dealing with a tragic loss, but there are no safe spaces anymore. Stay strapped or get clapped. No, I'm just kidding. But but seriously, we need to start all unfortunately, I wish we still lived in that time where we could, keep our doors unlocked and keep our cars unlocked and, feel safe, but we aren't living in that world right now, so taking some precautions to keep you from becoming a victim, having awareness of your background, not keeping valuables like your purse, um, you know, out in the open. Just little things that we can do to maybe make ourselves more safe, but it either way regardless, this woman shouldn't have tried to, gank a purse at a daggone cemetery, for the love of all that is holy. If you would like to send, Valhalla a free goat, you just have to go to Italy. They are free if you can catch them. You know what? We need to have a fundraiser for Valhalla. If there is anyone I want to see chasing Italian goats to bring them home to, start an Italian, crossover goat story, it would be Valhalla. We must get Valhalla to Italy to get these goats. I demand it. Italian mayor offers free goats to anyone that can catch them. The mayor of an Italian island is attempting to solve an animal overpopulation problem with an unusual offer: free goats for anyone who can catch them. Riccardo Gullo, mayor of Alcudi in Sicily's oh, for the love of in Sicily, introduced an adopt a goat program when the small island's wild goat population grew to 6 times the human population of about 100. Gullo says anyone who emails a request to the local government and pays $17 a stamp fee can take as many goats as they wish as long as they transport them off the island within 15 days of approvals. Ghost Fox, dang it. I wish they would, because we just need an entire stream of Valhalla running free among the Italian goats. I'm just saying that would be the greatest stream ever. Okay. Anyone can make a request for a goat. It doesn't have to be a farmer, and there are no restrictions on numbers, he told The Guardian. He said the scheme is currently available until April 10th, but he will extend the deadline until the goat population is back down to a more manageable number. The mayor told CNN that officials will not investigate the intentions of prospective goat owners, but, quote, ideally, we would like to see people try to domesticate the animals rather than eat them, end quote. Look, it's a don't ask, don't tell goat rodeo, but we're kind of hoping that you're going to treat them as pets and not food, okay? Oh, dear Lord. The island's goat herd originated about 20 years ago when they were purportedly brought to Andalusi or Alcludi by someone who intended to breed them, but they ended up wandering loose and became feral. The ghosts have become a major tourist draw for the island, but the mayor said that the population boom has caused the animals to spread beyond their usual habitat and invade gardens and homes. And you know what, ma'am? You just sparkle and shine and you live your dream. You know what? I'm in a good mood today. I'm feeling all the good feelings. NYC beauty pageant hopeful 44 gets a second chance at fulfilling a childhood dream. Quote, this is my year. An Upper East Side songwriter is getting a second chance to fulfill her childhood dream of becoming a beauty queen, even if that means competing at age 44 against women half her age. Ma'am, you look great, so I mean, you know how to do the cat eye thing, or whoever does your makeup knows how to do it. So I am just super impressed. Uh, Mara Matlock is throwing her tiara in the ring and suiting up to compete in the New York USA pageant, a preliminary for Miss USA, about two decades after she missed out on her chance for eligibility under the competition's former age limit ceiling. I had to face the fact that that door was now closed to me forever, and it was an end of my dream, she recalled, thinking, before this past September when the Miss Universe organization, which oversees local pageants, announced it was scrapping the competition's long-standing age limit of 28. Back in 2005, Matlick, then 26, was forced to bow out of the state pageant at the last minute, opting for a once in a lifetime opportunity to record an album instead. By the time she was able to prep for a pageant again, Manhattan resident had aged out. "This is my one that got away," she told the Post, describing how she viewed her disappointment afterwards. "For these past 2 decades, I had this quiet, whispering, but persistent voice. What if? I felt like I let my childhood self down because I didn't achieve that dream." Ma'am, my childhood self wanted to grow legitimately. I was hoping to grow a real Yosemite Sam handlebar mustache when I grow up. So, childhood Mo can be disappointed all she wants, okay? Because I'm glad I don't have to contend with a Yosemite Sam hair mustache, though when I am evil feeling, it is a little bit upsetting that I don't have something to twirl other than my hair, and then that makes me look a little bit more innocent, which I guess could be unsettling too. Now, the singer and writer, who also gives private music lessons to kids, said, "How often do we get second chances in life?" She acknowledged that momentary panic set in when she asked herself, "Could I really do this now at my age?" But Matlack, and one of the few other older wannabe beauty queens, is lining up in her 4-inch platform heels to give the whippersnappers a run for their sashes. "This is my year," declared the beauty queen hopeful, who is single but wants to get married and have children. All right, I'm gonna say something controversial, and look, ma'am, you are 44. There you are probably going to need some medical intervention to conceive. This idea that we're telling women they can wait later and later to have children is kind of cruel to me because we are not acknowledging the reality that, unfortunately, there is a time limit on our biological clock. Until we can actually, you know, get that figured out without this being such a really hard on your body, um, you know, activity. IVF is no walk in the park. That, it's hard on your body. All of those hormones are hard. I wish we just didn't sell these kind of false, very candy coated things to people. Because it's really sad to me when I see, people that are, well, close to a general vicinity of this age that this woman is, and friends of mine that waited to have children, and they're really having a hard time, and it really hurts my heart for them because I know how much they want this, and it's hard to watch, and I wish we didn't, gloss over and just say, "Well, I'll just get IVF and I'll just do this." But it's so hard on your body, and it's so hard, to try to be a supportive friend, and you see how hard it is on people, so that's just my soapbox for tonight. I've been training for this moment, the age c or since the age limit was, announced. Said the Massachusetts native, while admitting that her downstairs neighbors probably don't love her late night struts around her apartment, squeezing her size 7 feet into heels again for the first time in years. Matluck is in full prep mode, ditching drinks and brunches with the girls, hiring a sought after pageant trainer to whip her into swimsuit proportions shape, and cutting out dating and dairy, two indulgences that will be on hold until after the June pageant. "I made a commitment to myself that I would cut out any distractions," she said. "Well, you cut out my ice cream and see how happy I'm gonna be. I'm not gonna be one of them smiling beauty queens." Uh, there's a lot more she brings to the table now too, she said, armed with the local title of Miss Radio City. The quadrant Okay, the 40-year-old looks at this opportunity through an entirely different lens than she did in her 20s. My intention is to start a conversation about women and what it means to get older as a woman in our society because my mission is much different now than it was at the age of 26. Yes, you're a different person as you age. Matluck says she will stand on stage now for all, quote, the older women out there who look in the mirror and wonder, has my ship sailed? Is it too late for me? Hell no, it is never too late. I don't care if you are 93. If you want to learn something new, if you want to do something new, then absolutely positively go after it. You only get one life, allegedly. If there is reincarnation, I have already put dibs out on being a fat cat, maybe a dude. I really want to just be Garfield, if I'm honest. So I'm just saying, if reincarnation is true, I call dibs on Garfield, okay? The singer who believes in breaking the rules is also a all about shattering tired, tedious societal expectations. As a vocalist who has performed on some of the world's most celebrated stages, including Carnegie Hall and Lincoln Center, and who had a musical produced off the West End in London, Matlock says she wants to show all the 20 somethings who dread getting older and feel artificial pressure to tick off every milestone by 30 that the best is yet to come. But not everyone thinks there's life or at least beauty after 28. The rule change has brought out ugly dissent by critics who blast the move as downright mockery of beauty. Okay, we are sending to Snake Island whomever said that absolute bullcrappery. You can be beautiful at any age. Y and honest to goodness, I mean, it you start to get to a time in your life where you look deeper. She has lovely sparkly eyes. She's accomplished in music. I'm rooting for her, but I would never put myself in a beauty pageant because I can't wear high heels, and good lord, am I not gonna listen to a pageant coach? And yeah, no, just never. But you know what? You can be any age and do anything. I mean, as long as you leave puppies and children alone. It Ageist insists the change invites something as outrageous and unseemly as an 80-year-old walking across the stage in a swimsuit. And what the hell would be wrong with an 80-year-old, walking across the stage in a swimsuit? I mean, I personally don't wanna see, Principal Skinner's mom in a swimsuit, but if she wants to do it, if that is her life goal, then honest to God, I would be out there, clapping my boobs off. Not with my boobs, but, I'd get so much cardio, they'd just be gone. Because you know what? If that was her life goal and she was 80, then God bless you, Betty White, you get up there in a bikini, I don't care. Squaw Bob, we've already had this conversation. I am not doing anything that I saw on My Fair Lady, even if it will help me in elocution, because, like I said, if I even try a book on my head, I'm gonna end up with a black eye and 46 swallowed marbles, and I'm gonna have to explain to the ER doctor that I had every intention of of not ending up in the ER, and that what had I had tried to do was be more graceful. Yeah, so there you go. You know what? I say let women, if you wanna, put yourself through a beauty pageant, which I never would, if you wanna do that, then by all means, you strut yourself, and who gives a hoozle if you're 18 or 88? I don't care. You have fun and you do you. It sounds like pure hell to me, I'm not gonna lie. This would be a definite, um, total immersion peopling therapy that I would not consent to, but if this floats your boat, then you do it. Slinky, I would vote for you. I'm not Do I need to start my own beauty pageants? Nah, I have way too much. I have way too many other things I need to do. And that, you all, is our show this evening. So, I'm gonna tell you guys, go for your dreams. You are never too old to wanna learn something new if you have something on your bucket list, because I'll tell you what, I'll tell you 2 things from my bucket list that I want to do in the next 5 years. I want to learn to play guitar. I'll probably be insufferable, but I'd love to do that, and take a belly dancing class. Now, we can only imagine the terrors and horrors of trying to teach this body. I swear, I have no absolute connection to my hips. I think that the nerve endings just don't go there. So, when people are like, "Just sway to the beat," and I'm like, "I don't understand what you're doing." So, pray for that future belly dancing teacher because she is gonna need all of your love and support. But, there is never too late to do something that you've always wanted to do for yourself. You can do those things and still honor your role in your family, still be a mom, still be a wife. You know, you can find a way. It may take you a little longer. You may end up being the 88-year-old on the beauty stage pageant, but if you are that 88-year-old, you will have a loud redheaded fan that will clap you on from the safety of her own house. Because like hell am I gonna go out to people? But, uh, you will have a big fan in me, and I am always a big fan in people, really bettering themselves no matter what age. I am trying to do the same, and I will let you know when I step up from hot mess to just current mess. Have a wonderful evening. I am sending you guys over to Shizzy, and then I will be, taking a quick bio break and then joining him, and we are watching the Theodore Edgecombe trial. Just a cluster dumpster sharknado of a trial, more because of the defense than the state, which is unusual that sometimes. But I will see you guys. Have a wonderful evening. Say something kind to yourself and say something kind to others if you can. And have a lovely evening if you are going to bed after this. I will see you in the morning. Have a great night, guys. Bye.